Okay, these notes are on 8-2. They're going to work just like the last set of notes. So I'm going to do a problem and then I'm going to have you pause it. And you're going to do the problems on the worksheet. So again, you're going to need paper and a pencil and a calculator. And if you'll go ahead and have the worksheet pulled up. I'll let you pause it and go get everything you need and then come back to me. Okay, so the first four on this worksheet talk about finding the LCM. That stands for least common multiple. So it's actually not too difficult. And your calculator will do part of it for you. Look at number one that I have. You need to write this on your paper. I want to find the least common multiple of 10c and 5c to the third d. Least common multiple means, and this is kind of confusing, I want the smallest number that both of these whole numbers will go into. So this one's pretty easy. It's 10, right? Because 10 will go into 10 and 5 will go into 10. If you didn't know that, your calculator will do it. And I'm going to show you how. Let me pull up this calculator picture. Also, while I'm doing this, just FYI, this is going to be a long lesson. I'm sorry. It's just a lot of problems that we got to get through. So to do LCM on your calculator, you're going to press the second button, and then you're going to press 0. Second, 0. And this whole long list comes up. Well, we want to get down to L's. You could scroll all the way down with this down arrow button to get to your L's. Or if you look right here, right above this little parentheses, there is an L. So if you just push that button, it'll get you down to L's. And then 1, 2, 3, the fifth one down says LCM. Click on that. So now on your calculator, it should read LCM and have a parentheses. And we want to find it between 10 and 5. So you type in 10 and then comma. The comma button's right here above 7. So type in 10 and 5. And your calculator will tell you that LCM is 10. Okay, so let's go back here. So my LCM is 10. The way letters work is you pick the biggest exponent. Okay, so they both have a C. This one's a 1, this one's a 3. The biggest exponent is a 3. And then this one doesn't have a D, but this one does. So again, your LCM has to include that D. Okay, pause it, go do number 1, come back to me. Okay, write down number 2. Again, if you're not sure what it is between 9 and 4, I'm going to walk you through those steps again. You press second, 0. You want to go down to L's, and that's that parentheses button. It's the fifth one. It's LCM. Type in 9, comma, 4. And your least common multiple is 36. This one has an a to the 4th. This one does not have an a. So a to the 4th is going to be the biggest. This one has a b squared. This one has a b to the 1st. So b squared is the biggest. This one has a c to the 1st. This one has a c to the 1st. So c to the 1st is what we're going to use. All right, number 3. It gets a little bit different. We don't have nice monomials anymore. We actually have things that are adding and subtracting, and it's a little bit harder. Look right here. You can see that you can take a 5 out, right? And then I'm left with x plus 3 if I divide them by 5, right? Ugh. 5 divided by 5 is 1x, and 15 divided by 5 is 3. Now, look here. These are the same, right? So that's going to be part of your least common multiple, along with the 5 that you took out. So this is your least common multiple. And last up, this is a perfect square, so it'll break down to an x plus 4 and an x minus 4. So we want these to be the same. Well, they both have an x plus 4. I mean an x minus 4. So that's part of your LCM. And then we'll also would need to add an x plus 4 for them to be the same. So if you'll complete 1 through 4 on your worksheet and then come back to me and we'll do some of the problems. All right, this is what number 5 on your worksheet looks like. If you notice, what's different about this worksheet is we're adding and subtracting versus multiplying and dividing. When you're multiplying and dividing, you don't have to have a common denominator, but when you're adding and subtracting, you do. So that's why this gets a little bit tougher. So first thing we have to do is figure out our common denominator. Well, this one has an A and this one has a B. So our common denominator needs to be AB. Okay, I got to have both of them in my denominator. So let's look at this fraction. I already have the a, but I have to add a b. And if I add a b on bottom, I have to add the b on top. Let's look at this fraction. I already have the b, but I need to add the a. And if I add the a on bottom, I have to add the a on top. Okay? So both of my bottoms are a, b. It doesn't matter that this is written backwards. That's the associative property, and we don't care about it. Okay? So my denominator is ab, and my numerator is going to be 2b plus 6a. I'm actually going to do another one just to make sure we're really okay with that. Let's do 4 over x minus 3 over y. Again, my common denominator, I have an x and a y, so both of those have to be in my denominator. Well, this one has the x, I have to add the y, and if I add it on bottom, I got to add it on top. This one has the y, but I need to add the x, and if I add it on bottom, I have to add it on top. So on top, I'm going to have 4y minus 3x, and on bottom, I have my xy. So if you'll pause it and go try number 5, and then come back. Okay, number 6 looks like this. Let's figure out our common denominator first. They both got an a squared, so that's got to be part of it. They both have a b, so that's going to be part of it. And then out of 5 and 10, I already did this actually on example 1 that I did. The LCM between 5 and 10 is actually 10. So this is my common denominator. So let's look at these fractions and see what needs to change. Have an a squared, have an a squared, have a b, have a b. All that I need to change here is I need to make this 5 become a 10. And the way that I do that is I'm going to multiply by 2, right? 2 times 5 makes it become a 10. But if I do it on the bottom, I have to do it on the top. So this first fraction is good. Let's look at the second one. It's 10a squared b. Look, that's exactly what I want, so I don't have to do anything. So on top, 2 times 3 is 6. And 6 plus 4 is 10. So on top, I'm going to have 10. On bottom, I'm going to have 10a squared b. And if you remember from the last worksheet, we can reduce, because look, what's on top and bottom? A 10. So they'll cancel out. So it's 1 over a squared b is my final answer. Number 7. All right, check this out. This has a whole number at the end of it. We can turn it into a fraction just by putting a 1 underneath it, and that's totally fine. So that's what we're going to do on this example number 7, and it's what you're going to do on example 7 on your worksheet. So your least common multiple between 2 and 1 is a 2. This first fraction is fine. I got a 2 on the bottom. This is not fine. I need to make that 1 become a 2. The way I do that is I multiply by 2. And if you do it on bottom, you do it on top. So what I have here is 3x minus 5. What I have here, well, I got a plus sign. 3 times 2 is 6. I can combine negative 5 plus 6. So really on top I have 3x plus 1. Negative 5 plus 6 is 1. And on bottom I have 2. And there's no GCF on top, so that's really as far as we can go. So pause it, go try number 7 on your worksheet. Number 8, I got lazy and quit typing them in. So here's number 8. It's 2 over x squared y plus 6 over y. So let's figure out our common denominator. They both have a y, so that's got to be part of it. And then there's also an x squared. So that's my common denominator. This first part's great. It's got all parts that I need, so I'm going to bring this 2 over. This part is not fine. I have the y, but I also need the x squared. And if you put it on bottom, you have to put it on top. So I'm going to put my plus from right here, and I have 6x squared. We can simplify a little bit more because 2 and 6, I can take a 2 out. So I have 1 plus 3x squared. Again, I just divided them both by 2. And on bottom, I have x squared y. And that's as far as we can go. So pause it, go try number 8 on your worksheet, and come back and we'll do number 9. Okay, number 9 is 3 over x plus 3 minus 2 over 2x. Alright, so now it's getting a little bit harder because there's nothing in common between these two. This side needs a 2x and this side needs an x plus 3. So my GCFs are going to be 2x and x plus 3. I just put it in parentheses to show that like the x plus 3 came from here and the 2x came from here. So we could actually put this in parentheses also if you wanted. Okay, so here I have the x plus 3. That part's good. But I need the 2x. And if you do it on bottom, you have to do it on top. So this is actually going to become 6x. I'm going to bring my minus over. Here I have the 2x, but I actually need to add the x plus 3. And if you do it on bottom, you do it on top. Now, here is a huge part that people make mistakes on every year. This minus goes to this whole thing. So look what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a parentheses, and I'm going to distribute. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 3 is 6. Okay? Now, and that's not the part people mess up on. This next part is where people mess up. We can combine these x's on top. 6x minus 2x is 4x. Here's where people mess up. This minus carries over to right here. So it's really 4x minus 6 on top. And on bottom, I still have a 2x and an x plus 3. Okay, if you look on top, I can take a 2 out. So that leaves me with 2x minus 3. And on bottom, I'm just going to rewrite this 2x and an x plus 3. And hopefully you see there's a 2 on top and on bottom, so I can cancel those out. And this is my answer. Oh, it looks horrible. I'm going to try and rewrite it. On top, you should have a 2x minus 3. And on bottom, you should have an x plus 3. So pause it, go try number 9, come back to me. Number 10 is 4 over 2x plus y minus 3 over 2xy. Again, my GCF is going to be 2 parts. I got to have a 2x plus y and a 2xy. So let's go through and make my fractions be compatible. I got the 2x plus y here, but I need to add the 2xy. And if I do it on the bottom, I'm going to do it on the top. So what I really have is 8xy. Again, it's a minus, so I'm going to put a big parentheses here. So tell myself that that minus has to carry over. Here I have the 2xy, but I need to add the 2x plus y. So, I'm going to do this pink. Let's distribute. 2x times 3 is 6x, and 3 times y is 3y. So, I'm writing our final answer. I got 8xy. You can't combine these two because this is an 8xy. Minus 6x. Again, remember this minus carries over here also. So it's a minus 3y. And on bottom, There's nothing. So 2x plus y and 2xy. There's no GCFs on top or on bottom. So that is my final answer for 10. So if you'll please go try number 10 on your worksheet. All right, number 11, write this down. It's 5 over x minus 4. What are we on? Minus 4 over x squared minus 16. All right, I'm going to start by seeing that this is a perfect square because it's a minus and I can take the square root of 16. So I'm really going to change this to an x plus 4 and an x minus 4. Now look, this one already has an x minus 4. So my LCM is going to be an x plus 4 and an x minus 4. So like I said, this first parentheses, it already has the x minus 4, so all I need to add is the x plus 4. And if I do it on the bottom, I have to do it on the top. So distribute, that's going to give me 5x plus 20. This one already has both of them. It has the x plus 4 and the x minus 4. So I'm just going to bring over my minus 4. Last step, I can combine that 20 minus 4. So answer is 5x plus 16, because 20 minus 4 is 16. And on bottom, an x plus 4 and an x minus 4. So pause it, go try number 11 on your worksheet. Come back to me, and let's do one like number 12. Write this down, 3x over 4 minus y plus 6 over y minus 4. So they're close, but they're not exactly the same. So my LCM is going to be 4 minus y. That's one of them. And the other one's going to be y minus 4. So let's start with this first one. I already got the 4 minus y. I just need to add the y minus 4. And if I do it on the bottom, I have to do it on the top. So let's distribute. I'm going to get 3xy minus 12x. It's a plus sign, so I don't have to worry about distributing the minus over. This side already has the y minus 4. I just need to add the 4 minus y. And if you do it on the bottom, you do it on the top. And let's distribute. 6 times 4 is 24. And 6 times y is 6y. The only thing left to do is nothing. You can't combine anything because this is an xy, this just has an x as a whole number, and this just has a y. Actually, there is, if you look, a 3 will go into everything on top. So I'm going to divide everything on top by 3. So that leaves me with xy minus 4x plus 8 minus 2y. I just divided everything by 3. And on bottom, I have 4 minus y and y minus 4. So that's 12. If you will go try number 12 on your worksheet and come back. All right, 13 looks like this. X over x minus y minus x over y minus x. So this is a lot like the last problem we just did. They're close to being the same, but they're not. So I'm going to have an x minus y and a y minus x. I have the x minus y, so I need to add the y minus x. I need to add the y minus x. So on top, I'm going to get xy. X times x is x squared. I just distributed. Over here I have the y minus x. I need to add the x minus y. And if I do it on bottom, I do it on top. It is a minus, So I'm going to do a big parentheses so that I know that minus distributes to everything. X times x is x squared. X times y is xy. So let's combine stuff. I'm going to go ahead and do my x squared. Well, no, let me just rewrite it. I don't want to confuse you. So I have x squared, xy minus x squared minus x squared minus and a minus. Two minuses become a plus xy. So that's my top. Bottom stays the same. I can combine xy plus xy is 2xy. And negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2x squared. And then on bottom, an x minus y and a y minus x. You can take a 2 out on top and an x. I can take a 2 and an x out. So I'm left with y minus x squared. Nope, no, I'm not. Okay, so 2 divided by 2 canceled out, 2 divided by 2 canceled out. I had an x, took an x out, so I'm just left with y. If I have two x's and I take an x out, I'm just left with one x. And then on bottom, I have an x minus y and a y minus x. Now look, if you look, it's the same on top and on bottom. So final answer is actually 2x over x minus y. So if you will please go try number 13 on your worksheet and come back. We're almost done, guys. I know you're struggling. I am too. All right, 14 looks like this. 2x over x minus 3 plus x plus 3 over x plus 2. So my common denominator is going to be an x minus 3 and an x plus 2. Let's figure out what we need to add. Here I need to add the x plus 2. If you do it on bottom, we do it on top. So am I going to get 2x squared? I'm distributing. And 4x. Here I have my x plus 2. I need to add my x minus 3. Ooh, this is no fun. Okay. So what we have here is, you might have been taught FOIL, you might have been taught double distribution, doesn't matter. We're going to do it both ways are the same thing. So I'm going to take this x, and I'm going to distribute it to both. So x times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. I'm going to take this 3, and I'm going to distribute it to both. So 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 3 is 9. Woo. Okay. Let's keep going. I'm going to combine my x squareds. 2x squared plus 1x squared is 3x squared. I'll mark them out because I use those. All these x's, let's combine them. 4 minus 3 plus 3 is 4. And then I still have my minus 9 at the end. And on bottom, I have an x minus 3 and an x plus 2. And that is your answer for number 14. So go try 14 and come back. All right, 15. Two more, guys. 15 looks like this. 1 over x squared plus 4x plus 4 plus x over x plus 2. I'm going to see that this is factorable right here. This will factor down to an x plus 2 and an x plus 2. Because 2 times 2 is 4 and 2 plus 2 is 4. So, common denominator is x plus 2 and another x plus 2. So this first one is good to go. I got x plus 2 and x plus 2, so I'm just going to bring this 1 over. I'm going to bring my plus sign over. This has 1 x plus 2, but I need another x plus 2. And if you do it on the bottom, you got to do it on the top. So I'm going to distribute, and I get x squared plus 2x. I'm going to rewrite this so that the x squared comes first, and then the 2x, and then the 1. And on bottom, I still have an x plus 2 and an x plus 2. The top is factorable. It'll factor to an x plus 1 and an x plus 1, because 1 times 1 is 1 and 1 plus 1 is 2. And then the bottom, I have an x plus 2 and an x plus 2. So if you'll go try number 15 on your worksheet and then come back. Last one. Woo! Alright, here we go. It is going to be a 3x plus 2 on top and an x minus 4 on bottom. And it's subtraction and a 4 over x squared plus x minus 20. So first I'm going to see this can be factored into an x plus 5 and an x minus 4. Because if I multiply them, I get negative 20, and if I add them, I get 1. So that's going to be my common denominator, an x plus 5 and an x minus 4. Let's fix our fractions. This already has the x minus 4, so I just need to add the x plus 5 on top and on bottom. This is another one where we're distributing. So distribute, distribute. 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times 5 is 15x. Take the 2, distribute, distribute. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 5 is 10. The second one, it already has both parts, so I'm just going to bring over my minus 4. Alright, let's combine. There's no x squared, so I'm just going to write 3x squared. I can combine these x's. 15 plus 2 gives me 17x. 10 minus 4 gives me a positive 6. And then I have x plus 5 and x minus 4. So if you'll pause this, go try 16 on your paper. I know these get kind of complicated, so please feel free to ask me questions if you get stuck. Let me know if I can help.